Did you do the thing? Wait, okay, good? God damn it, OBS. Give me 1 second, I gotta double check something. Using... Okay, there we go. Every now and again... Yeah, every now and again, it will like to switch off my microphone to be a different microphone. It's very strange. But hello everyone, my name is Notepad, Anon, and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Today we're going to be working on Danmaku Rhapsody of Spirit, Accelerate. And what happened last time? Well, we got skills done. We got a lot of skills done. There are quite a few skills that are done now, including hindrances. This is the entirety of character creation. I didn't really mean for it to be very big, but that's not the point. It's you determine your power ranking. Yep, you determine your power ranking. You determine your attributes. Make sure you pick out your race. Pick out your skills. That's literally it. It's not actually a very complex system. That's not the point. I also put in an example, 2 example characters just to make sure things go smoothly. So let me just do that. So we have Arai and Ota. Or effectively we have... Actually, we also... Arai. I want to make sure their names are right. Pretty much we have a big Oni sword person and we have a witch. Because I can do that because I do not play by the rules of mankind. Powerfully bit yokai with a temper and a half. Temper and half. And let's pick out what her abilities are going to be. Her thing, she has a PR4, pretty much a basic standard ranking of PR4. They get 2 skills. So skills, if we go down here, 2 skill, take a hindrance, get an additional skill of their choice. So we need to make sure. So we're going to take boldness on her, which is going to be +1 movement during Danmaku. What else do we really want to do? Because the thing is, I needed to get across, like, this is where things like complete creation comes in. What would PR1 be? PR1 is like bottom of the basement, like you are barely, qualified to be here kind of thing. I put PR1 in here if like this is like the absolute lowest of the low. But I need to get across like if you want to play a character like this is what they would look like. Or hey, this is what, PR10 looks like. Like that's kind of the idea. It's more of a you can go lower. I would not recommend going lower. Though I think I need to bump up the actually, give me 1 second. I think I have to bump up the attribute number. I don't know how high I want to bump that up though. Because they turn out a little bit low, but it's also like, well, in this game 4 is pretty damn high. So let's see, what other ones do we need? We're going to take boldness on her. What another very fast? What would be another very good? Okay, we'll call it immense strength. For a +1 to melee damage. She wants to get close and beat you over the head, and she's also going to get weapon user sword, which she gets a +2 to judgments using her sword. Her hindrance, because she's a big Oni and she's very scary. Let's see. Danma what? And cannot use bullets. That seems pretty crippling, but she's not. But she is, Yasu here is not designed to do that. Her entire thing is going to be getting very close to beat you over the head. Okay, so if we do the magician next, as a magician. Let's see. Destined for greatness, even if her spells sometimes misfire. Misfire, so. Where are you? We need to. I think there's actually one called Magician. I gotta remember where it is. Make sure I have it. Yes, Magician right here. And Magician, she gets +1 damage to her bullets. Oh, like Nin. Give me 1 second. Let me remember which one's Nin. Oh, the rat. Nazarene. Probably like, as you can see, she's right here. Most of them would be around PR like 3, like PR 2 to 3. That's where they would kind of rank. Like, they're not really fighters. They're not supposed to be fighters. But this is kind of just for the players more than anything. Like, I want to play Nazarene. Then, like, yeah, you're going to play PR4. However, you are going to be, taking a few things to kind of mitigate your power. So, let's see. We have this. Okay. Where are you? Okay. Then she's going to select Old Blood. Well known. And then she's also going to select... We can select something silly, or we can select something a little bit odd. We're going to select something a bit... Yeah. We're going to select Swift Striker to increase, actually once Danmaku, increase the phase of an action by 1. And on our biggest problem we have to deal with is Blackened Blood. Family. Oh, actually, let's just say well-known family. It's very well-known well-known family for being immensely evil. Because that's Sango's big issue, is that her family is a bunch of fuck-ups. There we are. Shop or something that was also a bullet hell. No. Here's the odd thing with Touhou. This is like the really bizarre thing with Touhou, is that it is almost Seinfeldian in the nature of the setting, because the setting means nothing, but a setting is also the most important thing about it. Mostly because of, let me just put this in here. Actually, what I should do is put it right there. And don't forget she has her racial skill. But like, it's very amusing because how little the setting of Gensokyo actually means to the grand scheme of things. But it's also so fundamental to things that if you don't have it, the entire thing breaks. It's very amusing. Actually, I should change. Where's magician? Where is magician? Magician. I'm going to change your name. I don't know to what yet. We'll ask people, though. But, yep, here are our 2 example characters. Yep. I hear about Kingdoms of Warfare. Yes, I actually have the book. I need to do it. Did something happen with it? Okay. Slap an image right there. And now we get to move on to the really fun part, otherwise known as spell card creation, the main meat of this game. Did Matt Colville make a dumb because he likes saying words on the internet he really shouldn't? No worries. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Matt Colville does something stupid or says stupid things on the internet again. I mean, like, oh, Matt. Oh, Matt. You wacky boy, you. So, okay. Spell card. Alright, so let's do this. Spell cards are the character's ability. Actually, I need to get a full definition of spell cards, because there's actually like a specific spell card concept in Touhou. That's the weird thing. It's like a very specific... shooting games, Danmaku. You should have a name as soon as required. Notoriously use of quotation marks. Because the idea is that in most of the games that we make the notepad. Oh no, that's paint. Where is it? God damn it! If it's the idea that pretty much per phase you have to destroy the spell card. Who is ever using it, and that's how you get from phase to phase to phase, is you keep destroying their spell card, destroy the spell card. If you manage to destroy the spell card early, you don't have to deal with the effects. However, if you don't, you just have to endure it, which can be fatal. That's what I've been hearing about that game, honestly. About Warfare. Oh, God, what the fuck? Of course, it's like the most boring name possible. That, like, Kingdoms and Warfare. That people are like, wow, this is a really cool idea. Shame it's boring. Like, oh, wow. No, honestly, like, if I wanted to be a real gamer right now, you want to hear about boring rules that I really fucking hate. So, this is Icon. I had to do a look through of this game yesterday. I fucking hate this game. Like, this game is bad. Oh. Yeah, that happens. There is, I will say that there are no good, like, large-scale fantasy, like, role-playing games with good, large-scale combat rules. I have yet to find any. I've had to write some, and I still do not like them. It's just really hard to make it feel really good in either direction. Like, there's probably some answer, don't get me wrong, but I don't know what that answer is. Welcome to Icon. Very pretty game. Just yeah, it's the main thing. And then this is Notepad. This is design Notepad. The main thing that's difficult about like large scale warfare rules is that you can either make it really light or you can make it heavier. Like really heavy. It's hard to hit that middle point where it's like, well, I, the character, feel like I'm doing something. Similar to say, but the army is still doing things. It's really hard to get a good sense of it. Like the exalted system works pretty damn good for that, but it's the idea that a single character can take out an entire group of enemies pretty easily. That's the point. But even then, it's not flawless because of just how fucking big. And it's like, everyone is Tiger Warriors now. So it's like, it's impossible to find that, like, nice little thing right in the middle. Like, I'm a personal fan of Barbarians of Lemuria's rules. Ooh, I love those ones. Those are nice and easy. So, spell cards are... Yeah, Exalted is anything but that. Well, it should be anything but that, but some people like to believe. Let's see. Let's see. Magifed, and not. Actually, I keep reading what spell cards. Touhou. Give me an idea what I'm working with here. Who is Chernow? That they have power, even though it wasn't. So, spell cards are a magical phenomenon that can be easily condensed into card form into how do I want to do it? A mystic token, easily condensed into mystic token form. While every character's spell cards may appear differently. This same concept applies to each of them. A spell card is the manifestation of magic. Actually, manifestation of a specific magical spell of the user's choice, allowing them to personalize their abilities to the utmost sense. In Danmaku Rhapsody, Spirit Axcelerate. Yeah, in Danmaku Rhapsody, Spirit Accelerate, a spell card belongs to the character's spell deck. Combination of all of their abilities, items, and spirit they have amassed during the session. On average, a character will have, I think it's 4 if I recall correctly. May want to bump that up, may not. I don't know yet. Yeah, 4. We'll have 4 personal spell cards. We'll have 4 personal spell cards fitted to them. Hello. Not unfortunately, it's not a spirit. It's not a Yu-Gi-Oh reference. It is in fact a Touhou reference. Welcome to Touhou, everybody. We're playing Danmaku Rhapsody, a Spirit Accelerate, and I have to do spell cards today, and that's going to kill me because it's very fun. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Your spell card belongs to character. Let's see. What are you trying to draw there, Ajax? Also, their abilities, items, spirit they have amassed in their session. On average, character will have 4 personal spell cards fitted to undesigned by themselves. To be used during a Danmaku. Okay, so we'll do spell card terms and design. Spell card terms and design. Now, the complicated thing here is going to be the fact that I need to make a system that is both simple and easy to understand of I can make my own super abilities effectively, while also assigning cost to them. Because I don't want to do the you just gain the power to win, because that is not very fun. But it also has to be easy enough for people who don't play games to pick it up and be like, well, of course this makes sense. I'm designing it myself. This is where things are going to get very hard. So, a spell card. A spell card is broken down into smaller sets. To a smaller set. Smaller set of attributes. Actually, we don't want to use that term attributes because we already have the word attributes elsewhere. And quick reference for the player when designing them. Now, what I'm going to need to do, and this is where things get really dirty, is I have to design a spell. I actually have to design the cards. I have the idea of what they're going to look like effectively. So if we just use this, it's going to be a pretty standard playing card with, we'll slap it like this right here. You may also realize that graphic design is not my passion. So it's going to look bad, but here we do. So yeah, that'll work. And then we're going to have the main, this is going to be the main thing right here, which we do this, which isn't even, but we don't have to worry about that. This is going to be where the grid is. So if we select this, effects, tools, do I actually have? Do I actually have like a nice tool in here to do this? Or am I just fucked in that regard and just have to do it by myself? Probably. I'm probably fucked. But alright, I can work with this. I seriously not have something. Oh, fuck. This is where the grid's going to go. Now, I'm going to make a really jank-ass grid here real fast. Actually, we can probably do it. Make it a little bit bigger. So we want to do something like... Now, the core idea here is that this is going to tell you, like, what it's doing and, like, what the actual distance is on this. And even this is, like, a little bit too big for it, but... Wow, this is... Yeah, you can see how even I am when it comes to my artistic abilities. Because it's not good. That's going to look like something like this. Okay, here's your ability. This is like what the effect is, or it's going to give you the ability to say like, okay, here, and then it does like this. Or if it's like a personal ability, it just have you, or if it's like, oh, hey, it's radiating out one, like this. I need to do that. It's not going to be too hard. Down here, we're going to have like what the ability actually does. This is like where the actual meat of the card is going to be and what all the effects are going to be. You draw the card, you play the card, and we're going to have, we'll go here, we're going to put this. This is going to be cost, and it's going to be type, and then name. There we go. So we're going to save this card as our sample card on my desktop and make this go away. I pretty much need to make sure people understand that almost immediately. It's going to be great. So, actually, we're going to do one cost. The cost of the cost of the card. The cost of the card dictates how many cards need to be discarded for the spell to take place, ranging from 0 to 10. Yes, and again, does having 10 cards in your hand, is that physically possible? No, it's not, but it's possible for like higher tier enemies. It's like the card cost can go pretty high. The cost. So what we can do here is the card cost also dictates, also shows how much magical design each of the cards has available to it to show off its abilities. 2, which is going to be the type, type of ability, the type of spell card, the type of spell card, the ability, type of spell card it is. And we're going to have offense, defense, support. Offense cards are often attacking. These are attacking cards, protection cards, and effect cards. So the idea of offense is what you're going to be designing it. It's going to be built around me blasting you to smithereens. Defense is about protecting myself and making sure my barrier is higher or my ally's barrier is high. Support are the weird shit. That is Sakuya's time stop is here. And things like that. That's kind of more of a manipulation of the environment. While it could be beneficial, it could also fuck you over. Because that's how things go. Let's see, offense, defense, support. 3, grid face. The grid phase shows the effective range of the spell card, allowing the user. This is going to be like one of the more complicated parts of this entire thing, is getting this to set up and work properly. Allowing the character quickly note in what method their spell card affects the field. And then we're going to have 4, which is going to be the spell card effect. The effect show there's a set of terms and abilities which show how much damage, protection, or any other effects the character spell card actually does. This is it. Now, you're only going to have 4 of these. And ideally, once I get that set up properly, it'll be fairly simple to actually make, but I need to make sure the card looks proper, which is going to be the hard part. Actually, we need to change you to... Yeah, I'll change you to that. Yeah. Because we need to show, like, this is where it is on the card, and we're going to put the sample card, like, right here. Affects the field. So it costs 0 cards. Cost 0 cards can only be shown, but not need only be shown, but not discarded when used. Cost 1 cards, only need to discard the spell card itself. But it's kept in the hand. Like, pretty much a cost 0 card is that you show everyone you're using it and then immediately bring it back. That's it. It's not actually that that impactful. Like, so what we need to do is spell card. What do we discarded? Yes, okay. Spell magic design point. Magic design. The magic design of the spell card. Spell card is a number of points of 4 given to the character to design their particular card. A spell card. A spell card can add as many effects as they wish, as long as they stay under or equal to their magic design. And then I'm going to do the equation. So magic design equals, it's going to be the card cost. The card cost times 3, actually, so we'll do card cost times 3. We do card cost times 3 plus 5. So you're going to have 8 points at the beginning. At card cost 0, you're always going to have 5. So if we do 3, we do something like this, it'd be, you always have kind of odd numbers. So cost 0, you'd have 3, but cost 0 cards are supposed to be kind of bad, but that's the point. They're free though. You'd have 8. Cost 2, you'd have 13. Cost 3, you would have 21. Yeah, that'd be. No, you'd have 18. Cost 4, you'd have 20. You'd have 23. And then only a particular characters can have things like this. Cost 6. I'm gonna probably give an idea. Like at most, at a rank 1, at rank for PR4 character, which I'm gonna have to put a side note. Which one of the items is going. Pretty much the idea is that spirit orbs are going to be worth 2. That's kind of the idea. They're going to be worth 2. So if you have a spell card plus 3, it'd be 3 additional spirit orbs plus 3 spirit orbs. Technically, you'd have 6, quote unquote, 6 costs. So you'd have 6 there. So you can go up to cost you can have mind you, a single cost 7 card. And if you have a cost 7 card you need to have all the right cards in your hand. In addition to all of the correct item, you need the perfect hand to make sure you use that. And even then, you're kind of going to have to burn. What I'm probably going to do is it's going to be you have to burn those cards, like a spirit orb, if you want it to cost less. So you can use it for 1 and have it cost 1. However, if you can burn it, pretty much make it go away forever. In exchange for you can get 2 out of it. You're doubling the effect of it, which means hey, I want to keep this card in my hand because I want to use it later. But I need to use my big ability, so bing, bing, bing. I've burned a little bit on my hand, a little bit of fodder in my hand. In exchange, I get this. But maybe that's what you want to do. So reliably, so a tier 1 character can go for a cost 7. Bing, 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 yeah. Bing, bang, bong. Magic. Like the funny orange man. I am the funny orange man. Bingo, bango, bongo, I want leave the Congo. Da, 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 da. Don Rudo was a interesting duck. Let's see. Spell card. A character can freely choose the cost of all of their spell cards. Freely choose the cost of all of their spell cards, but it is freely choose the cost of all of their spell cards, but having a few that are cheap. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody actually believes that. A character can freely choose the cost of all their spell cards, but having a few that are cheap allows character to freely use them in the heat of combat. So we want to do spell card effects. This is going to be the main one. This is going to be the really hard part. Yeah, I do know. I know. I know. I've seen it. It's very funny. Very mimic. Like, I want to believe people like, man, people wouldn't be this stupid. But I'm like, wait a second. People actually believe that... people actually buy GURPS books. So it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I can see it. So, spell card effects. Now, this is going to be one of those ones where I'm probably going to have to, like, take a second. Like, probably at the end of this, I'm going to, like, just type endless amounts of just little effects that go down. But I want to get some of the basic ones. So, it's going to be, like, damage. Actually, what we can do is range plus 1, which is going to be range, which is going to be cost 2. We're going to do damage plus. We're going to do damage. We're going to do damage, which is going to do 1. So it's going to cost 1, do 1. Actually, do we want to do that? So if we do that, we can do increase damage. Damage by plus 2. Increase range by plus 1. So technically, you can have a spell that just immediately does 6 damage right off the bat. But the thing is, people can still dodge it. And if you're right next to someone, it's very easy to dodge things. So let's see, range, damage, and now I need to open up the document. See, I'm going to be stealing some things from this game because I have no morals. I don't like this game very much, but it does do something that I wanted to do, and it just makes my life very easy doing it. Not that. Stupid rules, stupid ideas, stupid, really stupid concepts, because Abaddon is shameless and doesn't understand what the fuck game design is, because he's too busy wanking himself. Dumb, don't care. Ah, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So, alright, up here? No. But yes, welcome to, this is Icon, by the way. This is Abaddon's new game, the guy who made Lancer. Well, from the creative lead of Lancer. Not the guy who made Lancer, very distinct. We'll do Blast. Increase radius. Radius by plus 1. We're going to have range 4, blast 2, line. That's fine. Arcing, that's fine, which is actually, we can do arcs. we can do arc, which is going to cost 2, which is spell can. What I should do is have like different effects, of which like spell can, spell can curve. Spell card can curve. So you get effects such as, let me just make sure this thing popped up. You get effects like this right here, which allows it to curve slightly. So you can start doing some crazier things with that. But it's the idea of like you have to spend a little bit for it. We can do cross. Cross equals 2. So spells, how do you even want to word the spell? Goes +1 in every direction in 4 directions. Actually, spell goes +1 range in any direction from source. See, it's just terms like this where I'm going to need to get people to understand that things are a little bit complicated. So because the base range of all abilities is going to be 1. It's always, you can always hit someone other than you. It's going to be 0 or 1. 0 is you can target yourself. Base range 1 is you can target everything around you. That's pretty much it. So it would be like, for example, Yasu, our Oni example character, she uses a sword. Her entire thing is that she wants to get up close. So she might have, as her spell card, let's say a spell card, a cost 2 spell card. So she's going to have 3 plus, she's going to have 13 points. What she may do is actually what we can do is even add something like multiple 2. Spell attacks. I don't know how I want to word this, but it may be something like she may be able to have something that looks like damage 4, so she does 8 damage like right off the bat with just her basic ability with range 2, so she can attack anything within 3, with 3 of her in that line. So that would, she'd have range 3. So that's, let's see, 4, 6. So she has 7 points left. But it's things like this is what I'd be going for. Actually, we could probably even make that even higher because I can. So it would be like 6. So do 12 damage, which is a lot, mind you, because people only have 20 things. Actually, what we can do is, so we can do lingering, of course. We're going lingering. We're going to make that cost 3. Spell lingers. Spell lingers on the space for a turn. For actually 4 + 1 turns. Lingering is very important because it allows you to do crazy shit. We can do scatter shots, which is going to be 4. See, it's one of those things, like, I can definitely see what I want to do. And being able to see it sometimes is not as helpful as being able to write it down. Because how do we get grid? Mostly one of those more complicated ideas, and this is why I just need some basic ones. Because how do you represent this? This is my question. So we're going to select you right in the middle of there. How do you represent actually it would be dun 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 dun. How do you represent this? Or you end up with things such as like this is pretty simple. It's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, and then cross 1. Boom. That's That's a spell card that's pretty easy to understand. Or like range 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. I have range 4. I'm just shooting it out in one direction. But it's like, how do I say, like, anything that crosses this thing is going to die? Like, that's where things get a little bit hard, that I need to just spend time looking over and being like, this is what this is, this is what this is. And, hell, how do you do, like, skip? Like, how do you do shit like this? If I were to be a betting man, if I were to truly, like, debate, what we could probably do is, like, you'd do a skip, 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 and then it would be like a you could do like a multiple, and you can like put it out in another direction. So it's be something like this to this. But it's like, how do you understand now, like there's a lot of like little things you can do, like grid wise. That's like, how do you explain this? Because you can see it in a game. You can see, yeah, curve it like this. Or you can do things like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, all right, if you select the curve, you can do shit like this. But it's like, okay, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I have curve, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Does this count as a straight line or not? Or it's like, if I want to be really creative, it can do shit like this. But how do you do this right here? Do like 2? Would be a multiple be the correct term for it? I think that would be. Diagonal checkerboard. Yeah, you don't understand. This is good. This thing has to take place on entirely on a fucking grid. That's like one of the caveats of this. This is like kind of coming from Yugi Flowers. Is I need to use a grid for this. And it is, well, the thing is, I can see it in my head. And it works in my head. The combat functions. If I were to get all, this is, and I knew this going in. This was the stopgap right here. This was going to be because I just need effects. I need different effects to do different things. So we need to do multiple spell. Spell is recast in a different direction. Like, that's the main thing. Like, it's not complicated, actually, but it's just making sure that works the way I can see it. Hell, even that board was too big, because it's only going to be 7 by 7. Because the idea is, I want this to be a complete clusterfuck. Because one of the core concepts is that you want to get across the idea of Danmaku, which is the bullet hell. And to get across that idea of bullet hell, what you need to do is make it so the actual spell effects aren't the main thing. It's not the point. The point of the spell effects is so that you can dodge them and like kind of put your enemies in a more awkward situation. Everyone's dodging around, everyone's moving around, and then it's just like, okay, we've trapped you in an area, you have to take damage now. And that's why I want things to be like really high damage, because you can so easily dodge them and get fucked by them as well. So what would be another good one for defense? Actually, barrier repair, which is going to be, this is going to cost 1. Increase barrier by 1. This is your heal. It's not very useful. You can get a little bit of barrier in there. Actually, what I should do is 2 for 1. So it's kind of the reverse of damage. Like, you can do like a big barrier repair, but it's going to cost you a lot. That's for something that's going to get pretty easily chopped down. So let's see. We can actually do skip. The spell effect skips every other It skips every other space. This is throwing shit at the wall right now. Like, that's the amusing thing. It is throwing shit at the wall. So, actually target everything three spaces in front of the target, in front of the caster. Because what I want to see, one of the main things that I would like to see for a lot of these is that they all kind of build on top of each other. So, consulting my handy-dandy grid again. If I can actually select the right thing, like... Which, again, this is too big, but this is just something I have to work with. If I say my ability... So let's say I'm here. That's where I am. And I want to say my basic wave, which is going to cost a lot of my points, is going to start here. If I buy range 1, it's going to do this. Because it's 3 in front of all of them. I buy a second one, it's going to do this. Because it's a wave. It goes up, 1, 2, 3, goes up, 1, 2, 3, goes up, 1, 2, 3, goes up, 1, 2, 3. Like, it just kind of keeps stacking on top of each other. However, one of the core things is what you can do is say you want to do range 2 for this. So it's like boom, boom, and then you can start doing your wave. Because remember, the wave is also not actually that useful for a few reasons. The answer is, your friends can get hurt by your own shit. So you don't really want to do a wave like all the time, because a wave can actually potentially fuck you over more than it actually helps. Because guess what? You can just kill all your friends on accident because you're stupid. So that's kind of one of the main things there. It's just going to be a game of me making effects upon effects upon effects upon effects that all stack together, mind you, to make, like, here is your ideal ability to do here, this ideal thing. This is your personal spell card. Yeah, it's Binding of Isaac-esque almost. You know, this horrifying, you know, cacophony of just things occurring and things are flying around. But, like, I also want, you know, spell card effects to sometimes not always be the most helpful. Where it's like, you can also, you know, pick up things which are like, how do I want to word this? Which is, like damaging for -1, reduce barrier by -2 anytime you use the spell card. Like, yeah, I'm getting some points back, but I'm also going to kill myself doing it. It's things like that. It gives you a little bit of leeway, because I wanted to feel the idea of, like, you put down your big spell card that covers the entire field in nightmares. You know, you do your Kamehameha straight on, it does a fuck ton of damage, it's covering the entire area. The problem is, how the phase system is going to work is that you have to charge your spell first. Everyone can see exactly what you're charging. They know where they are. And they're going to get hurt by it if they stand in it. So they're not going to. They're going to move, because you move after all the spells are prepped. Now, the core idea would be give people into shitty situations where they can't really escape all that easily. And it's move yourself into a situation where you're protected, but they're not. Because the map is so small, everyone's kind of flinging around, no one really knows what's going on, and everyone's kind of panicking. It's like, yeah, I did bring out my Kamehameha that takes up 4 fucking spaces, but I've also brought out my Kamehameha that does 4 spaces, and I'm going to hit all of my friends, unless they dodge out of the way, completely ruining their plan. That's kind of the The thing of it, which kind of hopefully that discourages big fuck off spells that just cover the entire field. Which is like, yeah, here's my spell that just immediately evaporates everybody. Well, yeah, however, you've kind of doomed yourself there, mate. So I have a few of these, like I have a few more ideas like how things are gonna go. But we also need to do where are you? We need to so let's I just realized music ended. So we need to do the flow of a session. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to finish this up. Because again, the goal is to actually, finish up the entire game by this Friday. This is not going to be a long game, but it's like okay. Instead of typing it out like a fucking idiot, I'm just going to do Control-C. Danmaku Rhapsody Spirit Accelerate is an odd game for a few reasons. Relying on a custom deck of cards, while also being a diceless game, makes it a unique experience. To actually play. When the judge is designing the incident requiring the characters to act. When judge is designing the incident requiring the characters to act, must consider the flow of a session and all of the in between parts of the characters finding out the problem and then going off to solve it. Okay. See, actually, it's story. Actually, the introduction scene. The first scene of any DRSA game is the introduction. This introduces all the characters doing something, as well as the incident in question, and how the characters are involved. The introduction scene is the establishing shot of the session. It does not need to be very long, but it is necessary to ascertain, to figure out, to actually set the groundwork of the rest of the session. Story scenes. During story scenes, the characters are attempting. Let's it. I can actually spell. Discover information and get items for their adventure. These scenes are not only for building up the world and scenario, but also allowing the character to discover important items and spirit to fill up their deck for the confrontation. Every story scene the characters take part in and should reward them with something if they are successful or learn something about the incident. Failing the story scene check is not an immediate failure, but they simply lose the chance at building up their deck. So what we should say is scene play. Which sounds like a vaguely pornographic method. Ah, yes, I'm into scene play, don't you know? But it's not. It's a scene play. DRSA is played using a set of scenes that string together the story of the incident and all the characters involved. As the characters navigate Gensokyo, the odd world of Gensokyo, the characters will uncover secrets and find out important information. A scene often has a lead actor, a character that is driving forward the scene, as well as making the major checks in it. Multiple characters can be the lead actor. During a scene. However, if using a competitive method of DRSA, a character can invade a scene with the use of one of their cards from their deck. Be competitive, or actually a disjointed method of DRSA. A character can invade a scene the use of one of their cards from their deck. With the idea being, we're doing a scene here, we want to do a thing, I want to hop in, play a card. Actually, is played using his... Then all the characters involved. Then groundwork for the rest of the session. If multiple characters are separate, each has a smaller introduction scene themselves. Pulling up their deck. Competitive Games may include characters, quote, stealing items or spirit from characters from scenes they invade. And successfully manage to steal the object in question. For example, we're playing the fairy war scenario. The fairies are trying to kill one another for some reason. We have to figure out why. If you're playing a competitive method, it'd be like one of the characters is actually a fairy who wants to, who's doing this for their own need and doesn't want anyone else involved. And they could like go in there and like steal an item. Hello, who's pinging me? Oh goodness. Ah. Ah. I actually got another ping from another person who was like, I require assistance. Like, you don't really need this. How do I gain a following? You don't. Fun fact, fuckboy. Let's see, stories, stealing an item, spirit, and yeah. Actually, let me do climax scene. The climax scene has the characters confront the main problem causing the incident. Main problem causing the incident. Characters during this time are going to need to muster their strength and prepare themselves for a confrontation. This isn't going. Actually, often the climax scenes are direct lead ups to a Danmaku battle. And then we're going to do. Oh, I keep hitting V. Arrest scenes. When a character has burned all of their spell deck, they may willingly take a rest scene. They are not present and cannot invade during this time, but may be invaded. At the end of the rest scene, the resting character. Well, the resting character adds back all discarded cards. Discarded cards back to their spell deck and shuffles. If invaded by a target, they may attempt to resist. But they may have an item stolen or taken away from them at their weakest. The idea being, you need to take a rest scene anytime you burn yourself out. However, if you're burning yourself out, that means you're vulnerable for other people taking your shit. So you don't really want to rest. However, you might need to rest. But if you're resting, you want to make sure everybody else needs to rest so you can take your shit back. What is the playtest of this game? I need to get done with it. I already have some people in the J1 server being like, I will playtest this. So what I need to do is once everything's done here, I then need to make assets for everything on TTS. That's the big thing. I need to actually make assets for this game to be played because like this isn't a game you can really play physical unless I get like a physical release of things, and then I can have like dry erase cards and shit like that. And then we make this like game actually function properly. But you have to do everything online currently, which is like a side note I'm going to have to put in, which is like, hey, yeah, gotta remember, can't play this game normally. So rest scenes. Okay, then we have to do items and spirit. We're going to do heading 2, which is correct, right? Heading 2, yes. A character during scenes. During scenes will recover. We'll find, take, and we'll find, take, and actually we'll find or take various items and spirit cards. And spirit cards. Each of these has an effect. In effect for the character during Danmaku. Not every card has to be. In spirit cards, each of these has an effect for the character during Danmaku. Item cards are often need to be burnt permanently discarded. To be used properly. But gives the user a powerful effect. While spirit cards can be played while spirit cards allow the user to cast higher tier spell cards easier. So we're going to be doing, we need a few items. What I may do is just do that later, but I'm going to do a few sample ones. So what we're going to do is we're going to call it we're going to make a prayer token, and which is going to be burnt. I'm going to need to literally make cards for all of these. That's like one of the big things for this is prayer token, burnt, mitigate all damage taken that round. Prayer, and then like prayer bead, burnt, restore +5 barrier. Let's see, what would be another good? Let's see. Oh, bomb, burnt. No spell card on the field. No spell card or bullet on the field takes play. Actually, what it would be is no offensive spell card or bullet is allowed to be fired. You can still heal yourself and do things. However, there's a bunch of things on the field. Oh no, everything bomb. Nothing happens. I would be fired on The big no. What would be some other good items? We need some generic Japanese bullshit. Like a grinding stone. The next successful melee attack will deal +3 damage. Shockwave. It will be like a shockwave. Yeah, well, there's items I have to think of. I'll throw people and give them what they want. So that's effectively all that needs to be done here. Pretty much I'm going to be doing the items. Then I'm going to be doing like there's going to be like 3 spirit cards. And like a spirit card is going to look something more like, which is going to be like a lesser spirit, which is like, you know, burn, which is going to be burn. Counts as 2 cards. Or greater spirit. Burn. Counts as 4 cards. Greater spirit's hard to come by. But then you're also going to have like demon sprite, which is like, actually what we can do is like a wind sprite, which you can just play, gain +1 movement, or burn to gain +3 movement. Some of them are going to have that option, like I'm playing this to do this, or I'm doing this to do this. I need to do that, though. Like, there's a lot of cards that I need to do, which is going to be, like, the hardest stopgap of this game. Honestly, it's just going to be me doing all the cards. But, yeah, I'll call it there for today. My name is Notepad, you know that already. I am going to disappear now. So, Godspeed, good luck. I'm going to be working on these. Hopefully by Friday, everything is done. If it is not done, we will spend Friday doing that. If I can't get everything done on Friday, I will finish it on Saturday. That's kind of the methodology, but we will get it done by the end of the week. That is my solemn promise. So thank you all. Goodbye. Have a nice night.